Trenni Kusnierek, Phil Perry, Tom E. Curran here to deep dive the Patriots. Look at this, guys.
Yeah.
We're doing like Tom Brady-like things, receivers getting together in the offseason. When you saw that, I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest, Phil. When I saw that video, I was like, okay, all right, I like this. Maybe a little extra time together is going to help this offense.
Yeah, you forget that this is the kind of thing you can do when you're not a rookie who's drafted in late April and you've got all sorts of extra time on your hands to be able to get these guys together, guys who have a year in the system, as Mac Jones does as well. And so to be able to establish this kind of thing at this point in the year, Tom, should be beneficial moving forward. I know they lost Josh McDaniels, but the time they spent together last year, the time they will have leading up to this year, we should see improvement from this group in 2022.
You allude to Josh McDaniels. It'd be fascinating to know just what kind of playbook they're working off of. Is anything going to be thrown out, or are you running the same routes? I mean, there's only so many routes you can run. But the upshot of it is, so many players last year, because of COVID, decided to opt out of OTAs because they didn't agree with the way the NFL and NFLPA put together their protocols. So key players, Jonnu Smith, Nelson Agholor, among them, didn't go to OTAs. This year, that shouldn't be present. So you're exactly right. This is the kind of momentum building that could open our eyes to how some of these guys perform.
Yeah, did we underestimate maybe last year when we were looking at sort of an offense that was a little disjointed to start the season, how important time together in the offseason really is for an offense, Tom?
I don't think we necessarily did, but I think we might have overlooked it because I know that we alluded to the time that Jonnu Smith spent away during OTAs and then was injured during minicamp and also was injured a little bit during the beginning of camp. And Josh McDaniels mentioned, and I think Bill Belichick alluded to it too, Phil.
Yeah, one thing that Jakobi Meyers actually reminded me of a couple of times during the season last season was something that we talked about when this whole Cam Newton, Mac Jones position battle was going on, which was, okay, well, the longer this thing is still a quote-unquote battle, the fewer reps the eventual starter, whether it's Cam or Mac, is going to get by the time you get to the start of the regular season. Jakobi Meyers referenced that multiple times. He said, listen, Mac wasn't even getting all the first-team reps until the season basically started, and so they didn't feel like they were hitting their stride until midseason.
So just on that alone, should we expect the offense to be better this year then?
Yes. I mean,
wow.
Listen.
You didn't even let me finish the question. I like it.
Well, listen, we've talked about this just about on a nightly basis for the last few weeks. The Patriots offense, based on the fact that they had a rookie quarterback who is now a second-year quarterback, should be better. I know they've lost their leader and their play caller, and there are still questions there. Don't get me wrong, but we should see improvement just almost based on that fact alone, the fact that the young quarterback has more time in the system.
Osmosis. I've used that a few times.
Yeah.
Agholor, Jonnu Smith, but Phil's point too, does it end up being a wash between Joe Judge and Matt Patricia getting used to having a frontal, a leading position with the offense, a full frontal.
Role with the offense.
Playbook,
I also
right.
like that, like Mac Jones talked about in the offseason, that maybe he needed to, what did he say? He needed to lay off like the cake or something. Like, he made a comment that he was a
No, it was
little,
ice cream. It was ice cream.
He was
Fair.
a little, soft but he, his teammates commenting, he looks lean, he looks fit. He's clearly committing himself in the way that he needs to, Tom, to play at a high level. But realistically, what can our expectations be for a year two quarterback who is going to have, even though he's going to have another offseason with the players, he is going to have a new offensive coordinator no offensive coordinator.
Right. Statistical leaps might not be in the offing, but playing style leaps should be, i.e., better velocity, better decision making, Phil.
I think statistical leaps should be seen at least in stretches this coming year too, just based on the personnel they're going to surround him with. The play calling thing is a thing. That's a factor, and that's going to loom over all of our discussions about this offense. But if Devontae Parker's healthy, if they add a real weapon in the draft, there's no reason we shouldn't see some jump in terms of his numbers too.
All right, I don't want to nitpick too much here, but there were a couple noticeable absences. No Jonnu Smith working out with them. No N'Keal Harry, who I think most of us just assume like he's probably not going to play for the Patriots next year, right? But, do you look at that and say, where are these guys? Why aren't they out there? Or do you just look at it and say, it's just the offseason?
I would definitely do the latter. I think honestly, not that we're being unfair, it's our job, but I think to express that it's unfair to take attendance on April 5th, wherever they are in Florida, Palm Beach, is that what it, Tampa?
Tampa, it
Yeah,
sounded like,
to take attendance and then say, whoa, sure, not there. I think that's unfair on April 5.
Well, and it did sound like, I know we listed Devontae Parker's Instagram comment there,
Yes.
work, exclamation point, exclamation point. It sounded like Kendrick Bourne, I think, responded to that saying, see you tonight. So maybe we get some Instagram videos tomorrow with Devontae Parker, new Patriots receiver. in the
And maybe some of the other guys see that and they go, hey, I want in on it. I'm going to take the next flight to Tampa and I'll
Nobody's answering.